Good morning all, welcome to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Jody and it's great to have you join me today. Today we are doing a corn harvest video. We finished up the soybeans and I'm trying to space these videos out a little bit so it's not like harvest on harvest on harvest. That might get boring for you guys. I can understand. I'm kind of tired of being in the field at this point, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Anyways, all that to say is we are starting the corn harvest. It is October 6th. I got up pretty early to get out to my parents' place. We would like to get started maybe around 8 o'clock. That might be a little wishful thinking. Corn, you could generally get into the field a little bit earlier than you can beans. The dew doesn't affect the corn quite as much as it does the beans. And we've been so dry anyways that there shouldn't be much of a dew anyways. So we are supposed to get some rain tomorrow, at least last time I checked the weather forecast. So I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to that. I will let you know that we've had several days off from filming in the field. Let's see, I was off Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I believe. And then Sunday we always take off. We're never in the fields on Sundays. But during that time, my parents did work on fertilizing some fields and also planting some wheat. I think this is going to be the last year my family plants wheat. You plant that in the fall after you've harvested a field, generally a bean field. And then it grows a little bit before the really cold winter sets in and just kind of goes dormant, and then it will spring back up during the warmer months as it warms up, and you harvest that by July. So like I said, I think this might be the last year though that my family plants wheat, because it's just been one of those crops that we kind of struggle with for whatever reason. I don't know if it's our location, like the environment of our location, or what. It's not the easiest for us to grow a profit with. And we don't need the straw anymore because we don't have any animals really. So the plans are we're going to be cutting that out after this year. But anyways, let me get to my parents' place, see what's happening, and I'll take you along. All right, the corn's pretty tall, but let's take a look here at what an ear looks like. The ears are sitting up pretty high. Like this is my head height. I'll show you. See, like this is how tall it is. I'm 5'4", by the way. You can see corn is filled up all the way to the end. That's what you like to see. Nice ear, good harvest. the top of the bin. As you can see, a good ways up. My mom is in there leveling. I'll tell you what, you can really feel the heat coming off of that, out of that bin. We have the fan on, like I said. It'll cool down with time. You can really feel the heat. I will say it's certainly not a fun job to be in there shoveling, but you gotta level off the grain so it can dry better, so it lays better, more even with the grain bin. And it's very hot, dusty job, not much airflow, but it's something that's gotta be done. And we can't dump any more into the bin until it is level. So we'll just see how that goes once it is leveled out, if there is any more room. But yeah, that's one of the less glamorous sides of farming. Hopefully you guys can hear me with this microphone, but the fan is running in the background. I just wanted to tell you something about doing corn that's different about the beans. You have this stuff here, and I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it is a fine red, silky, dust-like debris. It comes off of like the cob of the corn. You can see how this is red here. This has got, obviously the corn's been taken off and it's partially busted anyways, but this is what it looks like, the ear of the corn, when there's no longer any corn on it. Anyways, that dust gets everywhere and I feel coated in it, and it feels extra disgusting. Like the bean dust was dirty, nice and dirty and everything like that, and you're happy to get a shower. I'm telling you, midway through the day, I've been looking forward to a shower for a long time, and I haven't even been the worst of it. Like I said, my mom was up in the bins and shoveling and everything like that. Dad was up there too at one point. It just gets everywhere. All right, we are planning to be done by about 7 o'clock tonight. That's what my dad's saying. So, we're going to tarp up the semi. We're going to, I think we might pull the auger away from the grain bin over there, just because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. It has a pretty good chance of rain, so we're not even planning on being in the fields tomorrow. So maybe we'll get back in the fields on the 8th. I'm not really sure. It kind of all depends on how much we get, I think. So, all right, I will sign out for today, and I'll see you whenever we get in the fields again next. All right, I am here at my grandma's. I got her dog down here. His name is Bob, but it is October 10th, and we're going to begin possibly around 11 o'clock. I'm a little bit early, and I think we're going to quit earlier today because my uncle has something he has to do later, but we're going to work on the corn. We had the corn off at my parents' place, both the fields. They do have one more field that is on the farm that is north of their house, and so that's the one like we had to travel with the equipment to. Excuse me as I'm shaking a lot because this dog is just all over me. He's such a loving dog, but he is quite a bit. Oh, quite a bit. So, Bob, here, you are making your debut. Actually, you've already been on the channel before. I've shown you when it was for the eclipse. I was here at my grandma's for the eclipse when we had that back a couple years ago. Was it just a year ago? I think it might have been actually just a year ago. All right, so I think I might be an extra hand for a good portion of the day. I'm not 100% sure because we are just taking the corn to the grain bin. We're dumping it, augering it into the grain bin here at my grandma's. What we do when we put it in the grain bin is usually we haul it later. So it's generally, sometimes it's in the December, like the late part of December, sometimes early part of January, but we don't usually haul when the winter's bad, like maybe mid to late January and February, and then we may haul again in March. Actually, March is the primary month that we haul the corn to the elevator. So that's just kind of a little explanation of why we put the corn in there. Just waiting for a better price. We have the storage for it, so that's what we choose to do. All right, I will see you as we get some action going in the fields. All right, so I guess I'm not an extra hand today. My dad is sowing rye. They do that as a cover crop on the corn fields a lot of times. It just helps replace some of the nitrogen that the corn really depletes from the soil. So he's planting rye today in one of the other cornfields that's already been harvested, so corn stubble, I should say. And then my mom is running the auger system. She was in here, this tractor, for a little bit on the first dump, but like I said, now she's operating the auger system, and I am in the tractor with the cart, and my uncle is in the combine. So I already have one dump right now, and he's turned around at the end of the field, and I'll be following him up because he will not make it all the way. So I'll see what footage I can capture for you as we're going along. I do have my camera mount, or my phone mount in this case, and it can work both ways. But let's pull out here now. I'm gonna go nice and slow. Actually, I'm gonna give him a little bit more room to get going. All right, so I am just hanging back behind because when he gets full, the lights will come on. I think the lights, they have them working now. For a while, when they were finishing up the beans and into a couple fields of the corn, the flashing lights weren't working to signal when they were full. Maybe only one was working at the time, I think. Anyways, I think they're working now. And so when he's full, he's going to have to back up a little bit for me to be able to pull up underneath of him, because if you can see, the spout is facing the corn. So there's no way I can do a dump on the go while the spout is right over the corn. All right, he is backing up now. So I'm going to pull up underneath of him. All right, I put my tractor in park. The combine can move around as he needs to fill up the cart. All right, that has been my second dump. So now I'm heading up to where the grain cart is, and we'll fill her up in there. The first time I was heading up to the semi, it was really hard to see in my grain cart as I was dumping how much corn I had, and I was so sure that I could see more corn in there, but it wasn't coming out the chute even when I had it opened all the way up. So I was like, what is going on? So I had to get out and look, and sure enough, I was empty, but it's just hard to tell. So I'm not sure how good of visual you're going to get while I'm pulling up here. This thing is on a hill too, so I'm too far away. Let's try this again. Backing up. Backing up. I can back straight up decently, but don't ask me to turn. Okay, I have it in park. I'm going to turn on my auger system. I like my placement of my auger better this time than I did the last. And I'm opening up the chute. Now, because we are on a hill, we have a tendency to want to roll back even when we have a tendency to roll forward even when I want to go backwards. So I am going to reverse a little bit. This is my third dumping into the semi today. First time with the corn. It's pretty much the same process as with the beans, just depends on where you're parked at, kind of makes a difference. Like I said, this one wants to coast forward. But pretty much the same process. Feel like I'm getting the hang of it a little bit more now. All right, I just finished dumping into the semi, and my uncle's light on the combine is already flashing, so that means I don't know if I can get down there in time. Wow, we're really jostling around here. Maybe I need to slow it down. But I don't know if I can get to him in time before he's just like too full and he has to stop. so we'll see. I don't want to jostle this tractor around too much. It's hard on the tongue. But this field is extremely bumpy. My goodness. Oh, he's stopping. Okay. Now backing up. I was almost there. This is just a very long field. All right, I am heading home. I don't know how much you caught of the last clip that I was showing. Actually, I'm not sure what order I'm putting them in exactly, but it was with the one where I was doing the jump on the go. I think I'm going to keep that in my video, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, I lost my microphone, guys. I am so upset. I had just recently purchased the Hollyland Lark 2, and it had two receivers or two microphones, I'm sorry. It had the phone jack, it had the piece that I could put on my camera, and I lost one of the microphones. Sorry, I'm pausing. I was trying to see what this car was doing. This is a single lane road, so. But yeah, I lost a microphone. Yes, I have a spare one, and I have it hooked up now. Hopefully it's receiving. I think it is, but I'm so upset. That was quite a bit of money. I wanted to get more of my money's worth out of it, I feel like, than what I did. So I went back there and looked. Here's what happened. When I had gotten out to go to the bathroom, because that's your bathroom break, the wide open field, you just try to angle yourself in such a way that you're not exposing yourself to any of the woods, because you don't know who's hunting in the woods. You don't know who has cameras up. So I went to go to the bathroom. Sorry for the TMI. And I'm pretty sure that's when it happened, because it is not in the cab of the tractor, and that's the only other place it could have been, but I know it's not in there. So like I said, I went out and looked, but can't find it. Cannot be found. It's pretty much like looking for a needle in a haystack anyways. All right, well, that is all for today. Like I said, today's the 10th. I won't be working on tomorrow because I have another job that I have to do, and then there's Sunday. Won't be doing anything Sunday, so the next day I'll probably be out in the field will be Monday. I'll catch you then. All right, it is October 13th, Monday, October 13th, and I am driving out to my parents' place. It is 10:30. I meant to be out there by now already, although they didn't plan to get started till 11, but Mom was going to have lunch for us. She had some hamburgers that she wanted to use up, and you know, if we're going to start at 11, they probably want to eat before that. That's how the farm schedule works. So anyways, I'm running a little bit late, but I'll be there before long. We are doing the corn. We have to finish up at my grandma's place, which, like I have said before, my uncle has been farming. And we'll be putting that in the bin. I think all of it should fit. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think all of it should fit there at my grandma's place. And then we will be, I don't know where we'll be going exactly. We have my uncle's other field that's kind of separated from his property, but not terribly far from his property. And then we have my dad's other field, which is north of the main property area. So I know it's kind of vague, but that's the best we're going to get for now. And anyways, so let's just see what we're doing. I imagine I'll probably be either on the tractor with the cart, or I will be doing the augering of the corn up into the bin. So I'm going to try for the tractor and the cart, because if I'm augering, there's a chance that I might have to shovel. I'm going to try to avoid that if I can. I don't like shoveling the corn or soybeans in the bin. It's not a fun job. Okay, let's get out there. Let's see what we're doing. Okay, we switched fields. We're no longer at my grandma's place. We are over at my uncle's. I drove the tractor down the road, so this is my second time doing that, and I'm proud of myself. There's some odd angles and turns that I have to do, but I did it. Now I'm just waiting to get my first load in. My uncle is kind of finishing out the ends here. I'll show you what I mean. You can see these rows on the ends are being taken off first, so that way we can get in with the tractor here and turn around more easily. And he's going to go all the way down there and probably come back, and then he might be starting to get 3/4 full at that point. I'm not really sure. It's all the way down, almost at the end there. If you look for the trail of dust, that's usually where you can see them. Alright, nothing really new now though, other than that, so I'm going to sign off for now. I may do one last check-in as we finish up for the night, but I'm not sure that there'll be anything new to report until then, so I'll see you later. Alright, I'm going to sign off for the night. Right now we are just augering some of the corn out of the bin and putting it in the semi here. It's going to make the corn more level that's in the bin, and they're just going to haul what's in the semi to town tomorrow. So that's the game plan. Well, guess what? We get to shovel, so I guess I'll try to take you along for that. When I say shovel, I mean shovel inside the bin. Not looking forward to it, but I'll try to give you a little look to see what it's like. Good morning. Actually, it's early afternoon, but we started about 11:30. It's October 14th, and so we're in my dad's northern field, and I don't know if we'll get this finished today or not, to be determined, but I'll just kind of take you along with me. I did start in the combine just a little bit. I'll show you a little clip of that, but now I'm once again in the grain cart. We are hauling from here. My uncle is bringing the red truck, and we're taking that back to my parents' place and dumping in the grain bins at my parents' place. I don't think I'm going to be able to get too much footage of that because I'm going to be primarily needed here. My mom is out for the day, running a bunch of people around to different appointments and things like that. So I think pretty much it's going to be this tractor where the action's going to be at for me. So we had a breakdown this afternoon. One of the feeder chains on the header broke, or it slipped the sprocket, and I guess the sprocket needed replaced. That's what my dad and uncle seemed to figure out. And so we did have a spare sprocket at my parents' house. They had to go, like I said, this field is a little further away from the rest of the home farm. So it took a while to get that and come back, and it took some muscle to be able to get things loosened up and everything to get the sprocket to fit back in with the chain. But they got it running. Thank goodness for them, because I could not do that on my own. But all that to say, you know, farming, sometimes you do a breakdown in the middle when you really want to just keep going, keep plugging along. Sometimes you gotta stop and fix things as it happens. All right, we're walking up to where the truck is parked after we finished. We left the tractor, or combine tractor, back there in the field a ways, but we're just walking up to the truck. End of the day, and we'll begin again tomorrow. See you then. Alright, this is October 15th and we are getting started. This is going to be my last day of the corn harvest, and it's about 11:30. It's been overcast. There was a little bit of drizzle earlier this morning, so I'm not sure if it'll be quite ready to go yet. But wow, you can see the bags under my eyes. I'm sorry. It's one of those days. It's one of those things, but we're almost finished, or I'm almost finished. This is a pretty large field. I'm not sure how many acres are up here. I forgot to ask, but this is the same field we had been in yesterday. We were working at one end. This time we're working on the other side of the field. And I just want to say that even though we probably won't get this done, it still feels like a huge sense of accomplishment. Each pass you make, it feels like a little bit more is taken off, and that it's just overall a nice feeling. It may not seem like a lot, especially perhaps to a non-farmer, but as a farmer, you see every little bit of progress is a help. All right, and what has felt like many days later, we are finally, or I should say, I am finally finishing up my journey with the harvest, the corn harvest, and just harvest in general for 2025. Now, my parents and uncles still have some to do. They probably have 4, maybe 5 more days, I'm guessing, to finish up. We had some breakdowns and things like that just slowed us down a little bit. But I am going to be going on my cruise with my husband, and so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy all the other content that I have coming up. So until I see you again in the next video, have a great day. Bye.